what we're seeing is the evolution. So you and I went to Redmond to see Bing, and the next generation of Bing, search. I'm going to do that a few more times.
Oh my gosh.
Done. AI, ChatGPT powered search, and of course, adding it to the Edge browser. And I don't know about you. Are you using it now?
I am. I'm using it. Yeah. If nothing else, a logic check on some things, but also really checking out the experience and see how it's improved. They added that slider bar for, do you want it to be creative? You want it more balanced? You want it more precise? And I thought I'd want more precise, but I left it on more balanced. It's a lot more fun.
Interesting. And so I'm using it, and I think I'm starting to understand it and find it increasingly more value. But what did you and I say that was going to be most interesting? Wasn't really the open internet and the next generation large language models. We said what's going to get more interesting is when the data that we create, the proprietary data that we create through our systems of record that sit in our data warehouses, that is part of our meeting data, that is part of our customer daily interactions, that can be then incorporated into and added to the open data of the internet. And then, of course, the social graph that companies like Microsoft have from technology like LinkedIn. And you start putting all this together, and it gets really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, I think the evolution is beginning to become clear. This particular announcement was around Dynamics 365 Viva Sales, which is, customer service, sales, CRM, and it's about the Copilot. And Microsoft's going to be very consistent in its explanation that Copilot is all about this technology is supposed to work alongside you, not in place of people. Having said that, it does some pretty important things, and it takes it most of the way there. In customer service, it's going to have advanced chat capabilities to, generate emails to customers, summaries of meetings that you have, and even, being able to import pricing, product information, and create proposals instantaneously. It also has marketing capabilities that could help you drive customer insights. You can, recommend customer segments to work with, and even make suggestions of topics in terms of what should be put in front of customers. So this is moving very, very quickly, Pat, and it's being streamlined. Copilot was originally part of the GitHub, and you're seeing how this is kind of manifesting throughout Microsoft's entire ecosystem to create a very streamlined AI builder, and that's going to allow developers to use low code to incorporate generative AI models across the portfolio. So where does it go from here? My take is we're going to see ChatGPT incorporated across every part of the Microsoft ecosystem. Not to mention, in the Viva Sales announcements, they also announced that this technology would work inside of Salesforce. And the reason I think that's really important to mention is, of course, Salesforce came out with their GPT, and we'll talk more about that. Let's do it in another podcast. But the point is the arms race isn't only about the large language models for the open internet. Now we're seeing an arms race of large language model and generative AI incorporation into this application. And this is pretty exciting. So I see this spanning across the entire, you're going to see more GPT in Azure. You're going to see more GPT in security tools and modules. You're going to see more GPT in data and analytics tools that are going to sit at the PaaS level. You're going to see GPT everywhere. The Copilot is going to go everywhere. It's eventually just going to be the Microsoft Copilot. That's my take, no proof. But what's really cool here is we're streamlining workflows. Pat, you and I do 100 meetings a week. Wouldn't it be great at the end of the week when you've done 100 meetings to just get a quick summary of what you met about, what's important, what follow-up you've committed yourself to? Can it actually write that? And by the way, it'd be pretty cool if all of our commentary on shows like this, hey, Copilot, write a blog post in my voice that takes the summation of the second segment of this week's 6-5 podcast and turn it into an article for my Forbes column. Dude, I mean, really? Freak
No,
'em
I
out.
know. I mean, I'm super excited about that. That does push the lines of, I don't know, analyst credibility and stuff like that. But it sure is exciting. And as long as my opinions got in there, and actually, let me restate that. If it's based on what we've already said and what we've already talked about, I do think that's fair game. So
Pat,
it's
that's
just
not
doing
only
it.
credible,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah. No, it totally is. And by the way, getting generative AI into Dynamics 365 is where, for my estimation, the excitement starts. The industry, analytics have been around for, forever. I started work in 1990, and we had analytics to a structured database. And, I don't know, it did move the ball forward, but there was very little automation and intelligence that would just be there. What I'm super excited about as it relates to things like supply chain, things like CRM, things like HRM. Those to me are super exciting as to what this technology can bring. And because it's operating on a smaller data set and a private data set, I believe that what comes back will be more accurate. So you train on a gigantic data set, but you apply the data of your enterprise, which is going to be smaller, by the way. You bring in multiple data sets to help you make that control. And with a company like Microsoft, too, when it comes to things like security, it really does just follow the same lines of how the data is secured in the first place. So I know there needs to be that security checkbox because it's important, but I also think that enterprise search, we saw the same exact thing, which was, oh my gosh, some stuff came back in my enterprise search that I didn't know was open to everybody, and we're going to have little oopsies like that, but none of this is new.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. And by the way, one thing that is worth mentioning is the pace of innovation is mind-boggling. The speed in which Microsoft is doing this, and of course, it's putting it's putting what's the right word, pressure on all the competition to move faster. But I've never seen a pace coming out of big companies at quite this rate. It's really interesting to watch.